Welcome back, everyone. POW Ponder on Weather here. It's about to get really busy in the weather department with more severe weather and Arctic air pressing in from the north will set up a winter battle zone and ice storms heading into next week. So let's take you back over the last 24 hours and hear the snowstorm that we would be talking about for about a week, and that set up a pretty healthy snowfall totals across Lubbock yesterday. They broke their daily record of over 7 inches of snow. We had some healthy totals up there near Dallas, north of the Dallas area. It came down pretty hard, but especially in Oklahoma yesterday, all these areas in purple, those areas picked up almost a foot of snow, and they did pick up a foot of snow in places in Arkansas and to portions of southern Missouri. So let me show you some of these pictures that came out of Electra, Texas. This is by the Wichita Falls area. Man, it was really coming down with these big, fat, wet snowflakes at times. And it was a winter wonderland. And then last night, the snow broke out just north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the city of Crum. They built this healthy snowman. I even saw some snow at my house, and I live just north of the Dallas area. So it was nice to see a little bit of snow coming down. But check it out in Arkansas. This was in Chimes, Arkansas. There it is. I mean, confirmation of a foot of snow unfolded for them. So yeah, definitely some healthy totals, and it definitely overperformed and to some of these places. But yeah, further south, unfortunately, we had severe storms, and in fact, we had 20 tornado reports as of right now, and we'll probably be adding to these as the surveys continue to come out. They had a violent tornado yesterday that came across Harris County, and it was the first tornado emergency that area issued since the agency started reporting back in 1999 of these tornado emergencies. And that was a dangerous setup. And it rained about 4 inches in the Houston Metroplex. That was the second wettest day in January ever. So it was a nasty day with severe weather and all the snow that really broke out. So if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily reports on this channel. And it's also important to hit the like button as well. It definitely helps out more than you know. And I started a second channel. This is mainly going to be catered towards, short-term weather analysis and some educational content. I've had a lot of requests for it, and it's going to be called POW Ponder Ultra. There's the URL to subscribe to the channel, and I'll have a link below to make it easy. So definitely subscribe to that channel, and I'll be uploading content on that one starting next week. So let's take a look at the snow to come. So that snowstorm continues to lift off the northeast. It's going to bring another several inches of snow across Illinois and portions of Indiana. They're going to be picking up a pretty good swath there in purple of 6 to 8 inches easily in portions of Indiana. That'll swing through Ohio and up through Pennsylvania. Some of these areas can outperform as well, with some healthier totals further north of another 6 to 8 inches. But definitely once you swing up into Canada, they've got over those foot totals still to come across portions of Quebec there as the snow will continue to come. There's also another little clipper system that's going to be diving down through Friday. These are snowfall totals through actually Friday morning. So there's actually going to be another little system that's coming down, bringing another couple inches of snow for portions of Minnesota and portions of Iowa there. But there was the rain on the south side. We still are dealing with some severe storms. They had a tornado watch that expired about 10 o'clock this morning, but now those severe storms will continue to shift off further to the east. So you got to be concerned about those nasty storms setting up along the coast today, and that very heavy rainfall like they saw in Houston area yesterday. There's a sharp gradient, so don't be surprised that some of these areas could pick up several inches of rainfall in a short amount of time with these training supercell thunderstorms. And they've got some pretty decent amounts up here, portions of Long Island back into Massachusetts there, into Rhode Island is there. You could actually pick up a couple of inches of rainfall for those nasty storms are going to be coming through later on this afternoon into the evening time frame, and even up into Maine, a mix of kind of a rain along the coast and heavier snows into the interior regions. But yeah, as we head into this weekend, it's all about the Arctic air and this polar vortex that has been displaced. So it's been coming down from the Arctic. It came down from Greenland, but now the time we get into this weekend, you can see this polar lobe really taking shape over Canada, some 20, 30, if not 40 degrees below zero of that true Arctic air really building. That's going to be pressing southbound into our north central states, and those areas will start feeling and getting into those minus below zero temperatures heading into this weekend. But further to the south, we've got the southeast ridge. It's going to be dominating the setup, and that is going to set the stage for a winter battle zone that's really going to be taking shape. And these could be talking about some ice storm setups as we head into next week. So let's take a look at the setup on the 500 millibar, and you can actually see it, what we're talking about here, as the ridge really starts to build up there in Alaska. The Arctic air presses southbound. You'll have the dominant southeast ridge that's been so prevalent all month long, that's unfortunately brought severe weather really for 4 weeks in a row. And we probably have more severe weather coming for next week as the Arctic air will press southbound. Where these white zones start to show up, that's where we're going to have to start being concerned of that battle zone really starting to take shape, and probably some wintry precipitation and some ice storm setup. So you can actually see that really unfold in the latest update from the Climate Prediction Center as this true Arctic air plunges in from the north central states of the 20, 30 below zero at times, and then the warmer air presses in from the southeast. Where you see the white shaded areas, where you see the lighter blues are up here, that is going to be your winter battle zone. We'll have probably more severe weather set up unfolding across these regions than the red shaded areas. But then once you get into those whites, that's what we'll have the Arctic air start to press. And we got to be highly concerned about these ice storm setups as the warmer winds pull in from the south, creates that warm air aloft. We've got Arctic air pressing in from the north. Arctic air is shallow air, so that sinks, falls as snow, melts in the higher latitudes as rain, and then freezes on contact as the Arctic air is shallow. So we've got to be concerned about ice storm setup. So let's unfold this and take you through the details going into Saturday. So these are actual temperatures, folks. So these are actual temperatures from that polar vortex pressing into the north central states of Montana back into Minnesota. We've got 20 below zeros showing up, and the single digits will start pressing southbound into portions of Iowa, getting into Nebraska there, as much of the further south is kind of more or less average conditions, and even further south than that is technically above average air. But you can see where the Arctic air is. That's where the snow line is. This is the red, so that's your freezing line. So essentially anything north of there is going to be freezing. So with these little clipper systems that come across, we're going to have to, we're going to pick up probably several more inches of snow across portions of Montana, through Wyoming here. That'll swing across portions of the Dakotas, getting into Iowa again, and that fishtails into the northern parts of Illinois as well during the day on Saturday, as we have more rain trying to come in from the south with those warmer type winds coming in from the south. So as we go into Sunday, you can see the Arctic air pressing a little bit further south, right? So you got these negative numbers approaching, building into portions of Iowa and to portions of Nebraska here with that cold. These are below zero temperatures, folks. Single digits start to press southbound into Kansas and to Missouri in places, but you can see the gradient, what we're working with, right? I mean, it's 66 degrees for low temperatures on Sunday across the Houston Metroplex, and it's 35 below zero up there in Minnesota. That's a 100-degree swing, folks. This is the kind of situation that we're going to be working with heading into next week, as we'll have the warmer southeast ridge building, trying to press that warmer air to the north, as we'll have that fight really start to take shape across the north. We've got a winter battle zone that really will start to unfold as we get deeper into the early part of next week. So here's Sunday. Here's the breakdown. So as the Arctic air will continue to press, it has the snow line pulling a little bit further south, right? It will have more rain building in across the Houston Metroplex, across Louisiana, portions of Mississippi, through Texas, Tennessee there, into Kentucky, as the Arctic air will try to press a little bit further south. But notice the rain out there in California, guys. Yes, I am expecting more wet conditions coming back for our western regions. That is depicted on the latest update from the Climate Prediction Center, has above average rain starting by next week on Monday, the 30th. Through all of next week, the rains come back in California. The rains will actually be above average across the desert Southwest as well, and above average across East Texas and good chunk of the Southeast, through portions of Tennessee and Kentucky. So it's, for a good chunk of the United States, we're going to be seeing a lot of precipitation to work with as Arctic air will be pressing southbound. So things definitely start getting interesting heading into next week. So these are actual high temperatures going into Monday the 30th. So you're still not going to get above zero up there in North Dakota. So you've been waiting on winter. You're going to get true winter, as you're going to be going through an extended period of time, probably with not even getting above zero up there, as those highs will continue to press. And you can see the Arctic air, only 21 degrees for a high temperature in Missouri coming up on your Monday, while well to the south, right? That's your warm sector. So you start to see the gradient of what we're working with next week, especially going into early next week. But further south in that warm sector, unfortunately, we're going to have to be dealing with more severe weather. I know it's been a broken record, even though it's January. We've had 4 severe weather weeks in a row, and unfortunately, it looks like a 5th one is coming up for next week with that winter battle zone taking shape. We could be looking at some more stronger storms in and around the Houston area coming up on Monday, even on to Tuesday, is that you're still going to be in the warm sector down there in these areas. Been getting hit with more or less in these same areas for an extended period of time. So we're going to have to watch this on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday further southbound for this more severe storms that could break out. But further to the north, it's all about the cold air and some ice that could potentially unfold. So here's the setup. So this is the going into Tuesday, the 31st time frame. As we end January, we're gonna have the south winds, right, pulling in that warmer air. We're gonna have Arctic air pressing in from the north. So warm air rises, creates that warm air aloft. Cold air presses south and has very shallow air, right? So it sinks to the surface. That creates ice storm setup. So we could be looking at potentially some ice setting up across Missouri, across portions of Oklahoma, across portions of the Texas Panhandle. And further south, there's the freezing line. It's all about the rain, and it's all about probably some severe storms the further south you go across the deep south. But to the north, it's all about the Arctic air. So here's the temperature gradient again. So you can see it. It's going to be a slow process. It's going to be a step down process kind of all week. This is a week from now, showing that Arctic air again below zero to the north. All these areas in green are below zero temperatures. So you got true Arctic air definitely on the way. It'll slowly try to press. There's the fight that we're trying to set up for you, right? We got 70. These are low temperatures. These are low temperatures, folks. We got 70 degrees, and that's a 100-degree swing. So this is the fight that we're trying to depict here, what's going to be unfolding into next week as that Arctic air tries to press southbound. So as the fight will set up, we're going to have to be watching for those ice continuing to pull a little bit further south as we get deeper into next week, and then fighting that southeast ridge along the way. So yeah, we could be looking at some more potential ice setting up across Texas, across portions of even Louisiana, northern portions of Mississippi, Tennessee, getting into Kentucky, definitely not out of the question. So we'll have to be fine tuning this as we get closer. But I'm trying to show you this setup where we're going to be working with, is this pretty complicated weather system coming up with these sharp temperature gradients of these 100-degree swings we got working with Arctic air, and warmer conditions further south sets up that winter battle zone. So right now, let's show you the different global models. Here's the European, right? So here's the latest European where these ice potentially could set up across Oklahoma, Missouri, portions of Illinois through Ohio here, and even portions of the Northeast. And it has another little swath that could swing portions of Texas into Arkansas. Here's the latest GFS, right? Pulls it a little bit further south. It sees more cold air. So we could be looking at portions of Mississippi, through Tennessee, through Kentucky, through portions of Virginia with that ice storm. Here's the latest Canadian guidance, right? Pulls it a little bit further south. So that's the fight in the global models right now, showing, hey, you know, we got severe weather down here for the south. There's going to be a gradient where we're going to have that icy mix take shape, and further north, it's just all about the snow. So we've got to be fine-tuning this as we get deeper into the next week. But what eventually is going to happen is the Arctic air is going to be winning. So eventually, once we go through about a 4 to 5 day, you know, winter battle zone starts taking shape, eventually the Arctic air will win by maybe the second or the third time frame, as that Arctic air will continue to plunge and overtake eventually the southeast ridge and bring those temperatures all the way down into the deep south. But even then, you can see the temperature gradient potentially by Thursday. And I think we go into Friday, that plunges even further south than this. So that shows you what we got working with, as eventually that Arctic air, well, I think will win the war with the temperatures as we get deeper into next week. So hey guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me in the next update while I protect you before and after the storm.